Los Angeles is where it happens before it happens anywhere else. But what's happening now beyond the glittering canyons of downtown LA is a more primitive manifestation of city life, the gangland jungle.
Yeah, here's some bangers down here, they're getting together. He's not in a gang, is he? There's his bro right here.
The flick knife feuds of the New York gangs were turned into a musical romance of the 50s. There's nothing romantic about the West Coast story of the 80s. Los Angeles police have identified 400 street gangs with 40,000 gang members. In 4 years, they've committed over 1,000.
I'm a CRIP when I lay down, a CRIP when I'm sleep, a CRIP when I wake up, a CRIP in the street, a CRIP when I hit the club, a CRIP in the booth, a CRIP at all times, like CRIP can tell you the truth, a CRIP when I lay down, a CRIP when I'm sleep, a CRIP when I wake up, a CRIP in the street, a CRIP when I hit the club, a CRIP in the booth, a CRIP at all times, like CRIP can tell you the truth.
Crypto, a combining form meaning hidden or secret, using in the formation of compound words. That's crypto, combining form meaning secret, hidden, or concealed.
Ambo dajuru taye denge amo
Adung tena torobli angam so chena jomfe
adon tena toroble angam su sane lumfe adon tena torobli.
I think we've all heard of the Crips, and some of us the different origins of the group's name. But have we ever heard of a people historically called crypto Jews? These were quote-unquote Jews, or better yet, children of Judah, who settled in Morocco, who lived during and were involved in the great Moorish Empire. Let's read about it. The situation improved in 711 when Spain fell under the rule of the Muslim Moors. Both Muslims and Jews built a civilization based in Cordoba, known as Al-Andalus, which was more advanced than any civilization in Europe at that time. Islamic culture also influenced the Jews. Muslim and Jewish custom and practices became intertwined. For example, Arabic was used for prayers rather than Hebrew or Spanish. Before entering the synagogues, Jews washed their hands and feet, which is a practice done before entering a mosque. Arab melodies were used for Jewish songs. Jews wore the clothing style of their Moorish neighbors. Jews lived peacefully in Al-Andalus for 400 years. The golden age for jewelry in Muslim Spain declined after the Almoravids gained power in 1055 and continued to deteriorate after the Almohads came to power in 1147. By the mid-13th century, the Christians controlled most of Spain and increasingly forced Jews to convert to Christianity. Those who converted became known as Marranos, or New Christians. Marranos are also known as crypto-Jews because they taught their children and practiced Judaism in secret. Keep in mind, it said Muslim Moors and Jews were coexisting in Muslim Spain. Now I know it says Jew, but historically the letter J was created in the 1600s, so these people wouldn't have called themselves quote-unquote Jews or Jew. The origin of the term Jew comes from Yehuda or Judah, as in the tribe of Judah. Now let me clarify, there were two groups of crypto-Jews. Some were Israelites that were scattered to Morocco, and the other were Edomite Jews who were already settled in Spain before the Moors conquered it.
Others believe it came from an article in a local newspaper that linked the cripple nickname to the gang's habit of using canes as weapons.
The Cribs carry canes, emulating their pimp heroes of the early 70s black exploitation films. Victims describe their attackers as looking like cripples or Crips. The name Cribs becomes Crips. Gang members adopt a lifestyle they call crippin'.
His gang was called the Baby Cribs, a nod to the members' young age. But before long, that name would change to the Crips. The exact reason behind the change is steeped in folklore.
Tookie, Jamel, Raymond Washington, their names are like legendary. I had an opportunity to talk to Jamel, and he explained to me Raymond's concept from the cradle to the grave.
Baby Cribs was really the original name of the Crips. Raymond Washington showed him a baby crib and said that he came up with a concept that was going to work. Just meant the youth of the movement. The older brothers teach the younger brothers, we emulate their example. So our example was revolution.
There was a line in the book that said the Crips and Bloods are the bastard offspring of the political parties of the 60s. The leadership falling apart in the Black Panther Party, the US organization.
There's this psychiatrist, a lady named Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She has a theory about the black man in America. She says that because of the system of racism, the black man in this country has been made to think of himself as a baby, a not yet fully formed being who has not realized his full potential. To support her claim, she offers the following. First off, what does a black man call his woman? Mama. Secondly, what does a black man call his closest acquaintances? His boys. And finally, what does a black man call his place of residence? The crib.
What, nigga? Oh, fuck this. Yeah, what up? Well, cuz, this Alizé you got, cuz? What up, cuz? It's that Alizé, cuz.
Man, you little niggas don't want to see me, homie.
What the fuck? I'm Looney Tunes. You don't know you fucking with what?
So, do something.
Nobody wants your punk ass bike, cuz.
Okay, you kids get out of here. Get lost. Go home. These guys are creeps. Go home. Go on.
How old are you?
14.
What do you hang out with this loser for? You want to wind up like him? You do, don't you?
No.
What's your heart beating for?
I'm scared, Dad.
Thought you were running a marathon.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them.
The common thread throughout all of these conversations and throughout our community seems to be, for the most part, the absence of a father, a male figure, father figure in the home.
I wasn't taught at all about manhood. I was raised by my great-grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother. There was no male figure. There was no role model for me.
So if you come up in a home when there is no male influence, there's no strong male influence, then everything is going to be out of whack.
What other people have their own children between the ages of 13 and 18 that are committing murders, robbing, and oppressing their own communities? Ezekiel chapter 37. The hand of Yah was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of Yah, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Yah, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, Prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, O dry bones, hear the word of Yah. Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they said our bones are dry, and our hope is lost, and we are cut off. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith Yah, Behold, O my people, I will open your graves, and cause you to come up out of your graves, and bring you into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am Yah, when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves. Return unto Yah, our true power. For he hath torn, and he will heal us. For he hath smitten, and he will bind us up. After 2 days will he revive us, and the third day he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight.
It wasn't enough to look like a Crip. You had to move like one too.
A Crip walking, they call it sea walking now, is a dance that the Crips invented. It was just a dance, which was a lot of footwork, but it was the coolest dance you ever seen. And to do it meant you was in that gang. If they can get their hands going with their feet, then it's cold. It looks crazy. Kind of like a war dance.
The Crips' influence.
Mortis dance, or Maurice dance, is a form of English folk dance, usually accompanied by music. It is based on the rhythmic stepping and execution of choreographed figures by a group of dancers, usually wearing bell pads on their shins. Implements such as sticks, swords, and handkerchiefs may also be wielded by the dancers. Name and origins. The name is first recorded in the mid-15th century as Maurice dance, Maurice danse, Maurice danse, or Moorish dance. The modern spelling Maurice dance first appears in the 17th century. It is unclear why the dance was so named, unless in reference to fantastic dancing or costumes. It is suggested that the tradition of rural English dancers blackening their faces may be a reference to North African or Moorish pirates who settled in England. Alright, so we just saw that they claim that the origins of the name Moorish dance or Moorish dance is unclear. Now I wonder if it's truly unclear or if they only want you to believe that it's unclear. Alright, now let's take a hard look at this picture right here. And let me ask you, what comes to mind when you see this? What is this Moor doing here in this picture?
Right from the start, the Crips talked the talk and walked the sea walk, a stylized step that signaled gangsta cool and later turned into a dance phrase. The sea walk was created by Robert Sugar Bear Jackson. An original Crip and friend of Tookie Williams.
We ready, King? 1, 2, 3.
Boom, ba boom, ba boom, 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 ba 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 boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, boom. Ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, boom. Ba ba boom, boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, boom.
Now that's better. All we need is a drummer for people who only need a beat. Now give me some drumming. Now someone add me some guitar to make it easy to move your feet.
Just one
Like to hear my organ. I said, ride, Sally, ride. And you might want to hear my horn blow, sitting there on the throne.
Okay, they say the plot is basically that the character Jamal Walker, who's played by Martin Lawrence, finds a medallion and time travels into the past. The people he meets there believe him to be a Moor from Normandy, because he tells them he is from Florence and Normandy, a famous intersection in South Central Los Angeles. So we can see that it's a clear connection. You know what I'm saying? You can't make this up. Alright, so what we just read proves that the creators of the movie The Black Knight knew that they were alluding to Moorish history when the Moors traveled into Europe.
Don Swell more.
Starting to like this word more, less and less.
Okay, this is from the book Tap Roots, The Early History of Tap Dancing by Mark Knowles. It says Maurice dances. Another type of English dancing that influenced American tap dance was the Morris dance or Morisco, comprised of claps, stamps, leaps, and solo jig steps, as well as other country dance movements and patterns. The term Morris is applied to many different forms of male ceremonial dance in England. The name of the Maurice dance was derived from the word Moorish and was a reference to the Muslim invaders who ruled the Iberian Peninsula from 711 to 1492. In 1149, the dance came to public attention when it was performed at the Spanish court. During this period of Spanish history, Christian armies pushed the Moors southward on the Iberian Peninsula, and the Moorish dance followed, and eventually spread throughout Spain, then moved to Italy and France, and with the Spanish conquistadors across the Atlantic to the New World as well. As Christian military evangelism continued to expand, this symbolic mock combat, which celebrated victory over the infidels, finally made its way to England in the middle of the 15th century.
Tick tock, never flip, block 20, quick until I drop.
David Barksdale. The major symbol gangster disciples make use of is the Jewish six-pointed star of David. The symbol pays homage to founder King David Barksdale, and its 6 points are said to represent love, life, loyalty, understanding, knowledge, and wisdom. Many argue on the origins of the Shield of David, and it is true that there is no reference in the Torah of what the shield of David would have looked like. So that leaves room to speculate if whether its use in Israel originates with David or not. But without a doubt, there is a connection between the 6-point star and the testaments of Solomon. So regardless if David used it or not as a shield, ancient Judah and Israel used it regardless of the symbol being used for good or for evil, benevolent or benevolent. Both Crips and Folk Nation associate with the color blue. Certain Crip gangs associate with orange, like the Hoovers, brown, Spooktown, Fudgetown, Farm Dog, purple, Grape Street, and yellow, Rolling 20s. Did you know that the Southern Kingdom of Judah associate with sky blue? Did you know the tribe of Benjamin of the Southern Kingdom of Judah associated with all colors, including orange, brown, purple, and yellow, etc.? Alright, let's start out with the tribe of Benjamin. It says Benjamin's stone was the jasper, and the color of his flag was like all of the colors of the 12 colors, and a picture of a wolf was drawn on it. So, like I said, we gotta keep in mind that Benjamin's colors were all colors, or at least all of the colors of the 12 tribes of Israel. The idea that the blue and white colors were the national color of the Jewish people was voiced early by Ludwig August Frankl, an Austrian Jewish poet. In his poem, Judah's Colors, he writes, "When sublime feelings his heart fill, he is mantled in the colors of his country. He stands in prayer, wrapped in a sparkling robe of white. The hems of the white robe are crowned with broad stripes of blue, like the robe of the high priest adorned with bands of blue threads. These are the colors of the beloved country. Blue and white are the colors of Judah. White is the radiance of the priesthood, and blue the splendors of the firmament." So as we see, Judah is being associated with the color blue. Now I want you to keep in mind that it did say Jewish people, but that just means the people of Yehuda or Judah. These tribal descriptions are written in the Midrash Rabbah and the Jerusalem Targum, also called the Pseudo-Jonathan Targum, which was most likely written by Edomite Jews, who were converts and not authentic or true children of Judah. But we must understand that almost everything that these Edomite Jews had from the ancient Israelite culture and information was stolen and or copied from the original Israelites.
Seems to be over the African Hebrews' claim that they are the original inhabitants of the land currently referred to as Israel.
When you came here, there was a question of whether you had a legal right to be a part. A law was passed, simply stated that if people claim they are Jews, they can come back to the land. Are you claiming you're a Jew? What are you claiming?
I am a Hebrew Israelite. My nationality, my tribal origin, I am a Jew. There is a significant difference historically. We must go back and understand that there were 12 tribes making up the family of the 12 tribes of Israel. If you were a descendant of the tribe of Judah, you were a Jew. If you were a descendant of the tribe of Simon, you were a Simonite. Levi, a Levite. To refer to a Levite as a Jew in the days of our fathers would have been very, very insulting. So, never in our true history has the entire nation of Israel been referred to as Jews. When our fathers used the term, it only meant a descendant of the tribe of Judah or one that dwelled in Judea. But when referring to all of us collectively, we were referred to as the children of Israel, Israelites, or Hebrew Israelites. I am a Jew, but when I say that I am a Jew, I am simply referring to my tribal origin. And when I refer to my national origin, I am a Hebrew Israelite. A Hebrew as a descendant of Abraham, and an Israelite as a descendant of Jacob.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. Yeah. Welcome to that country of that white and blue and blue and yellow, and copy what it do. Got the live sea, the Galilee, and the Jordan River too. They may watch us on the news, but you ain't got a clue. When I hit the USA, they ask me, do we ride on camels? They think we live in the tents and we walking around in sandals. Pause. Let's make fam more channels. From the land of milk and honey, let's see how much you can handle. Let's go. Israel, we go hard. Israel, down like us. Welcome to the Holy Land, the only land that's righteous. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. It's the land of milk and honey, but only in God we trust. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. You can do your own thing, but you can't go hard. It's us. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go, 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 go. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go, go, go. Israel, 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 Israel. We go hard. We go hard. We go hard. We go hard. Israel, 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 Israel. We go hard. We go hard. We go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. But you can't go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go, 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 go. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go, go, go hard.
Judah Stone was the Nofek, and the color of his flag was sky blue, and a picture of a lion was drawn upon it.
Ahí está Mr. Rajamanana.